Heavy Hitters releases today, which means this weekend we'll see tons of packs being cracked. Furthermore, limited play is on the menu, and because the set is so good for limited, it means a lot of packs. Now, as we go through the next few months, chasing those sweet marvels, drafting the new set, whatever it may be, we all know how it goes. We generate an awful lot of what we call chaff. The commons and rares can really start piling up. Now, hopefully they end up in your LGS's donation box instead of your recycle bin. But much as we did for Bright Lights, I'm challenging you and your community to take the chaff bin up a notch. So today I'm presenting 6 lists, one for each hero, that can be built entirely with your chaff from Heavy Hitters, with the intent, of course, to be given away to prospective players. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando, and go again, a fabulous cast, and let's start. Happy Heavy Hitters release day. You know, the way we do it, it feels like it's already been here for 2 weeks, but it hasn't, because now we can actually finally get our hands on the cases and all that good stuff. So you see right here, that's right, I am doing a repeat of a very successful from certain metrics video that I did for the Bright Lights release, where I said, hey, you can almost build entirely out of this set. Let's build 3 decks. You can give them away to folks, and so on and so on. The video, you know, it only got about 500-600 views, something like that. But the feedback for that, and people whom I actually, right, shout out to Anthony locally, he used it. He actually built stuff out of his chaff. Other people contacted me across the country, or actually across the globe, and told me they did the same as well. And you know me, it's not always about the clicks. It's about the content and getting stuff into new people's hands. So I wanted to take the time to toss these together. Now, a preface on this is these are largely based off of the pre-con decks. The pre-con decks, of course, come with a handful of rares. To be clear, there are some rares that are in these decks, but by and large, I've avoided, or I've certainly reduced the number of rares. Where that helps is, you know, unless the rare was needed, I felt to really push the decalon, I removed it. So that said, and that's the second that said, I really do encourage you to encourage your folks to buy the pre-con decks. They're really good, this set. I already did a whole video on that. I'll link it there if you haven't seen it. The pre-con decks for this set are really good, right? So encourage them to start there. That said, if they're trying to get like in a commoner event or something like that, these are a really good starting point to help them. And again, you can make it mostly out of your chaff. Now, there are 6 heroes this time around, and I warbled back and forth on whether or not to do one for Rhinar. I went ahead and did, because why the heck not, right? If you've got the chaff, you can do it. He does play different than Kayo, and again, I was kind of following the pre-con strategy that they had, so it really tracks, all right? Now, if you're interested in these decks, what you see in the link below, or what you will see if you click the link below, is it will take you to a document. It's a PDF document, and you can print it out. It will give you these cards. They're sized correctly, assuming your printer follows, you know, the standard rules. You've got to set up correctly. They'll come out at 3.45 inches tall, which means you can cut them out and actually slip them in the little bag that you put the cards and the decks in for your folks, so that they have the list available. Okay, so that's the idea there. Again, free to download. Just click on that at your whim, and please enjoy. Now, again, because they are based on the pre-con decks, I'm not going to waste your time of going through the full list. Okay, you can go look at the pre-cons. Again, all of these heroes play pretty straightforward, but by and large, Olympia is kind of doing some wager stuff. He has 2 weapons, and then of course he's doing some wager stuff. Again, I did give these folks slightly different weapons than, you know, based on my own feel. Okay, so I think the Olympia deck's pretty standard and solid at the same time. Kassai also, you will notice, you know, Draw Swords is fully in there. She's also just very decent overall. I did add a couple extra reacts just to help them. You know, I really think that's one of the warrior strengths in this set. Again, remember, I'm trying to build entirely from this set, so I thought the reacts were very much a strength in this set as well. Kayo plays basically textbook Kayo. He's got 7s, 6s, and 5s, and he tries to make might tokens and rar. I mean, the Kayo list is really good. I mean, their pre-con deck is really good. Kayo is really good. This list is really good. highly recommend this is one you start new players out on. If they don't mind being a little reckless, pun maybe kind of intended for their future growth, but that's a really good one. Kind of going in a round order here, the Rhinar deck is, of course, using Bonebreaker Bellow. I very much enjoyed that play. It was a very simple, strong, and straightforward play line from the Precon deck using Mandible Claw, Ballbreaker, and trying to Bonebreaker Bellow into it with a 4-card hand and just throwing a ton of damage. I did also pull in some of the learnings or some of the crossover from the Kayo deck. Again, not trying to follow the Precon exactly. That's one of the bonuses we had in this deck, was a little bit, or in this type of thing, is a little more flexibility. So bringing in agile windups and stuff like that, I felt made sense with Rhinar. So you can do that as well. All right, moving into the Betsy list. Betsy does have a couple of rares in her list, which I felt were necessary for the wager thing, right? We do have Wage Gold in there, which is a rare. Actually, I think that might be the only one other than the equipment, like her headpiece and stuff like that, which I think completely tracks, okay? This deck, I think, is going to be a little harder for completely new players to pick up. But I think after a couple reps, people will get this figured out. I did also put a little effort into upping. The Betsy Precon has a lot of 2 blocks in it. So this particular deck has a higher population of 3 blocks, but you can't completely fix that problem with, again, what she's trying to do with wagering. But I tried to do a little bit of help there. All right, Victor, one thing you will notice that is not a mistake are 2 Miller's Grindstones. Okay, so the Precon itself has a Miller's Grindstone and a shield. It is not a copy-paste error. I am having you start with 2 Miller's Grindstones. All right, it is a one-handed weapon. You can start with 2 of them. I think it really helps you out so that you can swing the weapon from the get-go and they can miss some clashes and then they can still have the other one on board to keep doing the thing. I personally think that is better than coming with the shield. You're welcome to disagree. You can throw a shield in there too. You're going to have a ton of them. Why the heck not? But again, I recommend 2 weapons. And then the rest of this is a bunch of defend 3s, and I actually skewed somewhat away from some of the block cards. I think the block cards are a little tough to learn because, again, if you arsenal one of those, you're kind of screwed. So I skewed away from some of those, plus they were the rares as well. So I filled up with a little more 3 blocks and gave him a little more attack power. So anyway, that is a quick rundown of, like I said, the decks overall. Again, there's very few rares in here, so hopefully from your chaff bin, you should be able to make quite a few of these. The commons are, a little harder in this set to get out of like a box or 2, but again, after you open cases and cases, and not necessarily you, but collectively your store opens cases and cases, you shouldn't have any problem putting these together. So anyway, link is below. Please join your community. Help us get new players, grow this great game. And you know what? If nothing else, we get to open a whole bunch of packs and make this happen, right? And it's going to be an awesome couple of months. I'm really looking forward to this set and seeing what the crazy kids do, the smart kids do with this set and see where it goes. So anyway, that'll wrap us up. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for doing this and putting your time out there. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Thank you for doing it. And go Commando.